Hey guys, welcome to another Complete Developer Raw, a live show with Will and BJ. Hey, there we are. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? So, it's been sort of an exciting week for me. I got to learn the soundboard at church last night. I even have the T-shirt that says, "I know what I'm doing." Even though I really don't, it says I know what I'm doing. So, believe the t shirt, not the reality. Wait, what? So we got that, and then my little sister is in town. She is here with my niece and nephew. They've been in town since Sunday. Been spending a lot of the week with them. I was actually supposed to write an episode this week that did not get finished. I was working on it. Uh, Anyways, Will sent me a message. He's like, "Hey man, I've had a crazy day. Can we only record one episode?" I'm like, "That's good because I don't think I'm gonna get this thing done in the few hours before we meet." So, uh, they've kept me pretty busy this week. It's been pretty cool. And then I've got tomorrow off work, so we're gonna be going down to Chattanooga and hanging out there. Which I told the lady at the post office, um, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna you're gonna hate that traffic." And I'm like, "What traffic?" And then she reminded me that Bonnaroo is going on, so we got to drive
Yeah.
through Manchester to get there. And so I don't know about Bonnaroo. I went way back in the day, when it was not corporate and it was like a big mud pile. Yeah, I remember that Bonnaroo. I looked at the bands. I'm like, there's just nobody I'm interested in seeing. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, people want to go see those bands, but just there wasn't really any that just jumped out to me as I want to see that band. Now, Exit 111 Fest that's coming up in October, which, by the way, if I don't, I've submitted to speak at not Music City, Dev Space in Huntsville, which is the same weekend. If I don't speak, I'm going to the festival. If I do speak, then I'm going to the festival after I speak. Dude, I mean, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Skinner, Skillet, Megadeth. I mean, some huge bands are going to be there, so it's going to be cool. And Guns N' Roses is going to be on Sunday. So is Skillet, which are the two that I really want to see. Um, so I'll probably go. Like, I'll definitely go Sunday if I don't go the rest of the weekend. So that's pretty cool. What's going on with you, man?
Well, my wife and my daughter are out of town this week. They go to the beach with the in-laws every year during the summer, and that's this week. So I haven't done much of anything except work this week. Like I know, like most people probably would, watch TV or something like that. And I won't say I haven't played any video games because I have, but not
Mm-hmm.
very much. Most of it has been, work stuff, the book stuff. Like we've gone back and forth. I finally actually did the paperwork where they can pay me.
Oh, nice. That's
So
that's
yeah,
useful. Yeah. Yeah, you
that's
definitely want to do
slightly
that.
more official. Yeah, so there's that. I've got a few other irons in the fire that I'm currently tending, and so like I get home and I go right back to working on stuff. But on the plus side, I've mostly stayed out of the database the last couple of days. It's been nice.
Hang on a second. I apologize. I forgot to press F11. So,
Oh,
sorry about that, guys.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Yeah, I normally do that before we get started, and it's just my mind has been everywhere. I did, however, uh, get the water bottles sent out today. So, uh, big mess of them. So I think just for my own sanity, I'm going to start sending the water bottles out once a month. And so I'm telling you guys this now. I'll start announcing it in the episodes too in about a month or so because we're a little bit ahead, which is awesome. It's nice to be ahead again and not just like panicking trying to get stuff out. But yeah, we will be sending them out once a month. Get your information to me by the 15th of the month to get a water bottle. And we've got a new email address to send that to. It's waterbottle at completedeveloperpodcast.com. Uh, I hope that does not become my nickname. Neckbeard I could deal with. Water bottle, I don't know. Um, and let's see. Jeff says you did a nice job last night. Thank you. Jeff is he plays drums and bass in the church band, so he was there. I actually didn't do anything last night, Jeff. It was Heidi. I was just observing. Well, I take that back. I did fix the Zoom because the recording, it was like there was a corrupted file on the drive, and so I did fix that so that we had a backup recording. So that's was my contribution last night. But yeah. Um, so guys, the episode that came out today was titled "The Long Quit." In it, we discussed what to do if you find yourself sort of in a comfortable but not really exciting job. We talk about strategies to plan your exit so as to leave in good graces and allow yourself the time that you need to find your dream job.
Sorry.
So these are
I didn't
the
know.
the pauses that I cut out because Will's not paying attention.
No, I didn't realize you were gonna go on with that. You changed the outline on me, dude. I was waiting on the thing. So we are always experimenting. Sorry about that.
I told you I
So
was doing that.
yeah, you did, but you told it to me in the middle of the workday. I don't listen to you in the middle of the workday. I got other stuff to do. All right. So um, this episode, we are talking about what you need to be doing if you're planning on leaving your current job in 6 months to a year. And this gives you a little bit of time for some introspection. For instance, this is a good time to think about what you really want in a new job. What positive things in your current job you'd like to see more of in the new job, what negative things that you don't want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You also might take some time to think about what additional improvements in your job that you would hope to see in a new one. So these are things that you don't see in the current one, but hey, it would be nice if the next one had this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's a good time to start thinking about what you could have done better in your current job and start rectifying those parts of your character. At least some things could have been yeah, at least some things could have been better.
Yeah, I don't listen. He can't read. So there we go. you know,
Yeah, we've talked about soft skills a lot, and Will and I are learning a lot of these too as we go along. So you're getting some entertainment. With this too, you want to take note of things that you can improve in yourself, so you can try and correct them from the outset of the new job. Uh, some habits, like where you eat, are easier to improve when you are in a new situation. I was just talking to someone who is going through a divorce and stuff like that, and having been through one myself a few years ago, uh, she was saying, she's like, I think I'm gonna go, move somewhere different just to get away from everything. And I was like, I think that's a good idea. Sometimes you just got to get out of your current flow and move, and then kind of reset. Um,
yeah, and it's also a good time to think really carefully about the stuff that you didn't like at the current job. We got this episode outline from a listener question that was kind of talking about their job situation and how bad it was. And this is the time to take that feedback into account and start figuring out how to not have that problem again. So if there's stuff that you didn't like at your current job, you need to take note of that and kind of have that up on your radar before you start looking and before you start trying to get into a position to get a better job.
mm-hmm.
And also, you need to consider the warning signs. Like that stuff, whatever is bad around you, didn't come out of nowhere. there was stuff that preceded it that you could tell it was coming. And you probably, just like we all do, tried to pretend like that's not what that signal meant.
Hmm. So we have a listener question. Glenn asks, "What does one pack for a guilt trip?" I just want to say lots of sunscreen because you're gonna get burned. That was bad. That was really
That
bad.
is bad. What is one pack for a guilt trip, huh?
Uh
Uh, I would imagine they pack all the burdens of the past, all the worries of the future, and a complete obliviousness to the present.
huh. Yep. Oh. So moving into our regularly scheduled questions.
How long is too long to stay in one job as a developer? Um, we get this one a lot in various forms. And I think a lot of it depends on the job situation. It depends on your life situation. A lot of times people like to ask this question as if the job is separate from the rest of the life, right? Like if you're, if you're about to have a kid, now is not the time to jump to a different job,
Mm-hmm.
more than likely, because you're about to have some major life changes. Or if you're still learning a lot on your job and you're still growing and improving and you're getting promoted and you're getting new opportunities, that's not the time to quit. The time to quit is when things are stagnant and when you have zero hope and zero chance of improving those things. So for instance, if you're in a company where you really can't get promoted any higher than where you are, and nobody's going to let you do any more difficult tasks that are good career growth tasks, that might be a good time to think about moving on. Another time is when your pay scale just doesn't go up for extended periods of time. You start getting behind, inflation starts eating you alive. That's a good time to go. um, Another time is when you want to kind of pivot on your career. We discussed that in the long quit, but I mean that's a big thing. People get 5 years into their development career and they want to do something slightly different than junior web development stuff, whatever that happens to be. They may want to do Linux kernel stuff. You
That's
just
pretty
never
cool.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say it's so much about too long, as far as like there's an actual time limit. It's more like you'll know when you get there. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're at the point where you're asking this question, you probably are there. And so I'll leave with one other piece of advice, and that is either change your job or change your job. In other words, change the way your job works
Mm-hmm.
or change where it is.
Yeah,
You can do both.
I totally agree with that. So next, is it is it a shame to work as a junior developer at 34 years old?
How old were you when you got your first junior dev contract work?
34, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Shame. I need to get a bell and walk behind you and ring it. Shame. Ring, 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 ring.
Now, so this is a question I pulled from Quora because I actually answered it on Quora, and I thought it was an important question because we hear a lot about, is it too late to get into software development? You know, am I too old to do this? And it's not. It's only a shame if you let it be a shame. The other thing about this is too is Will and I have known people who have taken like senior developers who've gone and taken a junior developer position at a company because it was doing a technology they didn't know and they
Yep.
wanted that learning capacity as a junior. Now they didn't stay in that role for very long, but they took on a junior role so that they could learn to do the thing they wanted to do. So like Will was talking about, you're doing you're a junior web developer, but you want to learn Linux kernel. Well, rather than moving into a senior um, role, you might stay as a junior and move as a junior into the Linux kernel and be a junior Linux kernel developer.
Yeah. Or you might just get paid like a junior and work at a startup,
There's
right?
that too.
Like that's the thing that happens too. Don't
Yeah.
don't ever let shame be the thing that drives you. Like, unless it really should be driving you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, at 34 years old, are you employed and are you able to keep a roof over your head without living in mom and dad's basement? If you are, generally speaking, that's better
Mhm.
than not. So, like, don't feel shame for that. Just look at it and go, okay, how do I get what's the next step up from
Yeah.
here? And how do I get there? Not, oh, what are the people that are way up here looking at me like, because they're
Hmm.
not noticing you at all.
So we have a couple of comments from, and I'm not sure if it's Vi or V, but I do know this: your water bottle was mailed today. You were one of the people that I sent a water bottle out to today. Um, she says, I am lucky enough to love my job, but it was still a great episode for improving my current job and improving as a developer in general. Then I am 33 and a junior dev. Is there a cone of shame I should be wearing? No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
You're younger than I was when I first started, so you're doing good. I don't know. I made a career transition. I know someone who is a junior dev at late 40s, early. I think she turned 50 while she was a junior dev. Um,
If
so
it's the person I'm thinking of, she probably wouldn't appreciate us knowing how old she is.
I'm not saying who she is, but I do remember her 50th birthday. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. But she was a junior dev at the time, and so yeah. I mean, it's another thing. You talk about software. When I was in medical school, one of my cohort in medical school was 56
Yep.
when we started. So yeah, it's not too late. It's just you've got different priorities, different things. You may not, as an older developer, go into a startup situation because that's not what you want in life. You've
Right.
got a better, clearer understanding of that.
Well, and the other thing too is at that point, it's a lot harder to pull cons on you
Yeah,
and treat you into working 80 hours a week for a quarter of a percent of equity after the Series A drops,
yeah, yeah.
for instance.
So that might be a reason people try to shame you as being older but a junior. But don't
Well,
let
that
them.
and just you got work life balance,
Oh
you got
yeah.
life experience. The thing is you're a 33 or 34-year old junior dev. Um, but what you really are is you're a junior dev with 10 to 15 years of adult life experience.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, guys. So next week we have a really awesome episode coming out about creating a community for coders. Everyone feels, well, everyone likes to feel involved. Even the shyest introverts need a community, something to connect them with others like them. As developers, we can often feel isolated in our own worlds of study or focus where we only have ourselves and our computers. Some people are able to find that community, whereas others don't see it and have to create the community they desire. We brought on our friend Saran, the founder of Code Newbie, to talk to us about creating an inclusive community and the conference that her team puts on each year for their community. It's a really awesome episode. Saran was a great guest. She's on a couple of podcasts, and so she's really well experienced with speaking into a microphone. So it was a really good interview. We had a lot of fun. So check that out. That'll be coming out next Thursday. Y'all, that pretty much wraps us up. I almost said we're about to. I almost asked you to give us a tricks of the trade.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta
I
watch
can,
what
I
I
can
say.
hear the intake of breath. It's like, Beach, your lines. I don't know what your lines are either, but I know that they're not what you're about to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we're
we got to
gonna.
practice probably.
Yeah, we're the that so that weekly topic. This is our first time doing it. We're still getting used to it. But we're gonna hop off here and record an episode where I do actually ask Will to give us a tricks of the trade. So we will talk to you guys. We'll be on next week. What is next week?
I don't know.
I like to tell y'all if we're
It's
not
like
gonna
the
be on
20th.
of June. Well, yeah, it's not
Yes.
gonna be the
Do you
20th of
need the year
July.
too? Is
I very well.
Do you need the planet that you're on? Come on, Beach.
Sometimes I do, man. Sometimes I do. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. So yeah, uh, we'll catch you guys next week.